on the roll call, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, you were just telling us.
Yeah, just telling me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, do we not vote on?
They're included in the consent
They're in the
agenda?
consent. I was just highlighting.
Page 2.
That's it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Chairman Holter?
Yes.
Vice Chair Anafrio?
Yes.
Secretary Sienna? Gianna Balsamo?
Yes.
Zachary Canada?
Yes.
Kim Dawson? Yes. Victoria Lanza?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving along, I'm going to present you with paper copies of the goals that we've worked on, the charge of the last meeting. They are front and back side. And then the second pile is from our mental health team. That more from Mr. Canada's goal of looking at, and we've redefined and put some measurables in for that, so it would look a little differently, but it's the same content that was in what he had asked. For Mr. Nofrio's, that was going to turn into more of a capital project that I'm going to work with Fran Marola and another private vendor to price out a menu of things that we're all interested in that were in that one. So, sorry, there's the mental health.
What's this?
That's mental health.
Oh, there's that. Okay. Thank you.
That was the spin-off from yours.
Thank you.
Okay? So I'm not going to read page by page. We're just going to, collectively what the administrative team did was to look at their building and the option of looking at student growth, academic achievement, or something with social emotional learning. And as you'll see, many of them chose to go with measurable student outcomes based upon needs within their building after evaluating standardized scores. That's something that the board has been vocal about, wanting to see a really focused energy towards that, towards pulling everyone up from our youngest and when we start our testing. So as you can see with Jerome Harrison with iReady and the goal there, moving through the TDS. Our administrators obviously are here to answer any specific questions, but you'll see measurables. The timelines will come out. They'll be testing and doing benchmark testing throughout the year, so you will be brought up to speed as we progress into the academic year.
Perfect.
Okay, and then obviously in the spring is when those scores do come out. So Smarter Balance for the middle school would be
Can I just go through the math quickly?
Oh,
Because I
sure.
noticed there's 3 math goals, which is great because math is a
need.
need for
Yeah.
sure. So on all of them, it says improve 2. Can we just modify this measure so we know where we're at baseline? So we know what % we're at proficiency currently?
Sure.
And then can we have a numerator and a denominator so I know that the denominator remains the same from baseline to our target, right? And are all students included or is it just?
So they'll tease out, it'll be identified special ed students from regular ed, and then they'll combine.
And that'll be
Yeah.
identified so we can see
So you can easily tease that out.
Okay,
Okay?
yep.
Let's jump in, Dr. Welch, or any administrators if you want to comment on any specific questions.
I like the math goal a lot.
Okay? High school, obviously focusing on the SAT. And obviously now that we're testing, Mr. Steffler, the kids are exposed to the PSAT.
In the fall, yeah, so the juniors would have that in the same contained year.
Sophomores would be exposed as well, and our labs are running.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a task and close to the after for 4 years. The juniors have that PSAT along with 9th and 10th in the fall, and then we have the SAT in March. March 20th is the SAT date. And based on those percentages on some historical data, based on how it's gone compared to state average. That's what I have to do. Of course, that's a snapshot for us for junior year. It's a important snapshot. So there's other building-based goals that we do have that incorporate the entire school. And we thought that was a real measurable one that's important that we report on anyway each year.
Do most of our students take the SAT and the benchmark tests? And
The
they do.
benchmarks are set by the college board.
Okay.
In uniform. And every kid by state statute needs to take, and has to take the SAT. fact, during COVID, our participation rate was off the charts beyond a lot of the state averages, so that data is tracked.
Okay, so if we looked at it, it'll be calculated the same way with special education?
Yes.
So we can kind of see how it's tracked
Kids
through?
who have extended time in their IEPs or small test settings, we have that accommodation through the approved process. With the college board, we have to do paperwork, electronic paperwork, ahead of time to get that extended time for small test settings, but they're all taking the same test on the same day.
And can we get some statistics on if there's like a significant amount of children that didn't take it for some reason, right? Because that might skew
We
it.
have to hit our target is always 95%
Oh,
of
okay.
years, and we've met that or exceeded it. past
Okay, so it's not
decade.
really an issue?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they show up, they take the test, and it's,
All right.
yeah, it's advantageous having it within your own school
Right.
during the academic
Yeah.
day. It's such an advantage.
yep.
Okay, so if there's no other questions on high school curriculum and instruction, it kind of overall wraps around the entire district with what Dr. Welch has been working on with the instructional coaching model and instructional vision, district instructional vision, mission, and what they're doing. And this starts from K through 12.
I don't understand this, just because I
So
don't.
Carter, do you want to just walk through,
I don't know what
walk
MTV,
through
BTC.
your acronyms and everything else?
We shared those with you.
I didn't retain it, I'll be honest. I didn't retain
MTV
it.
is making thinking visible, you've heard that over
Yeah,
the
okay.
years. And BTC is an extension of that, building thinking cultures or cultures of thinking. So
Okay.
it's an approach to the whole school environment.
Okay.
PDEC, walk through it. Dr. Welch.
Oh, PDEC, that's.
I'm just gonna throw acronyms at you.
Evaluation Committee, that's our local group that,
Yeah.
informs what we do for professional development, helps with our evaluation events, both teacher and administrator. They're working extensively this year with those challenges.
TDAL,
Teacher evaluation,
I'm just
the
helping.
observations and how they're rated each year on instruction.
So
We
what
do
is,
not have a K-9 in the building, we see the K-9.
It's a lot of acronyms in education.
so what is survey impact, May 2024? What does that mean? Just,
So obviously we track this by some of our professional development, but we survey both the teachers and the students related to this approach and how it's working for kids. So we collect that information and how teachers progress along kind of continuing developing this craft and how they're doing and how the learning is meeting their needs. So we kind of look at that through the survey.
so you surveyed the students and the teachers?
We did.
I like that.
Any questions on the curriculum? Now listen, if you go home tonight and this is keeping you awake, email and we'll get answers back. If it's not keeping you awake, that's a good thing. That
It's
means-
not a shy group.
that means certainly, lastly, but certainly not least, the district-wide mental health goal, you can see it's expanded greatly from its original form with everything included, but then just into more detail regarding schools, levels, interventions, board policies. It's pretty descriptive, and I think it embodies everything, but there's measurable metrics throughout this, which I think is what you wanted and what you were asking for, and you'll see that. And our mental health team is here. Ms. Thompson, Ms. Selberg, so if there are any questions about this?
Zach, I want you to pay particular attention to make sure it's like the spirit of,
Yeah, I mean, he's got the 4 bullet points are straight from
yours.
mine.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. I haven't looked at this, obviously. So, I mean, yeah. We'll look at it later.
Anything, just, we'll get right back to you. Okay, all right?
I like how you mixed up with like curriculum that is very easily measured, like math and
What's the focus?
competency, right? And then I like how you mixed in mental health and also like curriculum development, so you can look at the school from a holistic perspective as opposed to just a linear lens, like
Yep.
just one thing, because that's not what we want for our students anymore. We're trying to develop whole people, so I like that.
Okay, so our computers are on, they'll remain on for any input or comments, questions.
Just as an open brief comment, how did you feel about going about it this way compared to previous years? You know,
I had to scream and holler.
you know, I mean, I don't, was it,
Collectively, the nice part is that
was it advantageous? Was it kind of like, hey, this is a good idea? Like, what's the feedback coming?
You know, you have to feel good about what we're presenting as our district goals and missions because you're the ones who are going to be funding and fighting for our
Right.
initiatives. And that's important. We know, you know, math right now in this country is, it's at a sad state and with what we're seeing. And it's something in North Branford that we've emphasized. We want to put a lot of emphasis on. We've hired coaches. We've done a number of things to put labs in place. And you want to see that you're getting the bang for your investment with outcomes, student outcomes, as early as we possibly can in intervention. So that being said, it was a healthy process.
Yeah.
And there were 3 or 4 goals that each administrator was charged with bringing forward. And then we sat through and teased out the ones that we thought were of the most importance to the board. And that's how we came up with it.
All right.
The next thing I'm going to ask, and I don't want to ask you right away, but when we go into budget season, and that's in January-ish, think about things that we have gaps in, right? Or that is your kind of must-haves and your like needs and wants lists, so that when we're building our budget, and we know that oftentimes it's, we don't get much in our budget, but if we start thinking now and we can back up our asks with some data, we might have more success on why we need it, right? Like, and really put it from many angles, kind of like our goals are, so that when we're presenting it to town council, we have that information. Also, if we have it early enough, we could start to grease the wheel a little bit with town council so they know it's coming. And that they're not kind of taken out of the blue when they see a larger request. And also capital stuff, if your building needs something, let us know so that we can look at that too.
So the administrative team received information from Ms. Vaughn for meeting dates. They're all going to meet individually with Ms. Vaughn with their packets to go through. And my narrative was keep in mind that, you know, where we're at as a district in these times, keeping in mind our staffing levels and our enrollment with what we're coming off as a community with the building projects, the police department. So very, very realistic numbers so that we're not going through a number of steps. You know, the wish list is one thing, but then there's the reality of what's really critically important to North Branford right now. So they're aware of that and teaching and learning and you know, instructional contact time, controlling our staffing size with our numbers.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
all right?
Is there, do you have a due date for when you want these comments, if any comments are made? You know,
I would like them in January. That's when
Okay.
we're going to really,
sorry, not for the financials, I'm talking about for the goals.
these?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, within the next week or so?
yeah.
Yeah, just get them to us.
Just because they're going to start moving on them, so if there's
Right.
a significant shift, we need to know that before.
Roger.
They're already like knee deep in it.
Okay. Communications, you have your board briefs. I'm not going to go through those. You know it's in the packet. We have the student performance. Dr. Wells, if you come forward. We're going to dim the lights
And the person's student performance.
and go through this. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Thank you for doing. Dr. Wells, science tested in what grades throughout the district for science
Tested
campus?
in 5th grade, 8th grade, and 11th grade.
5, 8, 11.
Didn't see the overhead clicker.
Are they still coming? Do I take one
Thank
out?
you so much.
Sorry, I can't see it. All right, I think.
That we got enough, I think. I think we're good.
Mary, do you want copies?
Mary have one? Mary should have one in case she's got questions.
Oh, there go the lights. Does everyone have a copy? Okay.
One more going back. Going back.
Yep.
I do way down here.
I'm gonna snuggle up to Zach.
Let's do it.
All right, so as that's coming up in front of you, you have a packet of the slides, so you can look more closely at the graphs and the information that's coming up in the slides. This presentation is very similar to the format that we used last year. So it looks at kind of, you know, what are we we attempting to do, really? What's the overarching goals? How is each school doing on Smart Balance, on NGSS, and SAT? And then based on those results, what are the school's kind of major action steps moving forward? So that's our overview. So just kind of the 30,000 foot, what does it all mean? So we are continuing to make progress to that 60% proficiency goal in all tested areas. In some cases, we are significantly outpacing that. So in language arts, out of the 7 tested grade levels, we hit that 60% in 5 of them. In math, you can see, as makes sense with that big area of focus, we're at 2 of those. And science, 1 of the 3 has hit that 60%. We're continuing to work on that math area. We're continuing to work on all scores. I think it's important to highlight TBS is continuing to do really well in showing that consistent growth and success across grade levels. They certainly have areas they're targeting, but they remain almost a flagship, I would say, in the district in how they're performing. NBIS is making progress each year. You know that they've been behind over a long period of time and starting to close those gaps, and there's been some good work and hopeful progress there. The high school, a lot of success in their AP, as you heard from our student reps talking about our AP participation, our ECE courses, and they're working, as we highlighted, improving those scores in the SAT. Central office, our focus is providing that support for the schools, promoting those efforts for schools to collaborate around those pockets of success, and how do we spread that wealth into other places where we're not quite achieving them yet. And Scott has said this along, that we're committed to that trend of continuous improvement, not just these isolated pockets of success. I always say this, it wouldn't be me if I don't say this to you, that those test scores are a balanced area of our focus. They're not the defining thing that we're shooting for, that is the purpose of our education. We know it's an important measure that we're tested on and that we're evaluated by the outside on, but we are really chasing that good teaching and learning for students and staff alike, and that's what we're driving toward. And we know when we do that well, we're going to end up that improved student performance. He said most of it. So English and language arts, just to let you know, consistent trend of success, some growth. This is just an overview of the graphs that are coming up. And we're going to continue to look at those high needs performance groups and continue to strengthen that through our SRBI program, which stands for Scientifically Research-Based Intervention. And our flex is that kind of the blocks that exist at all levels to try and close those gaps with students in the schedule. So this, I know, doesn't project well for viewers at home or anyone trying to see this from the audience, but I know you, in terms of the packets, have this here. So what it shows you is district comparison in the tested areas and grade levels. So you're looking at 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade in English language arts. You can see that North Branford is doing well near the top in those areas. So we continue to be very proud of those efforts.
Any questions on, can you read that from where you're sitting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has there been some growth
No,
in this area?
I understand they have the packets, but some of us who are eyes are getting a little.
That's why I put it up there.
I understand, but I'm saying for the older people.
I don't think we were,
You can see it. We're good. But
I don't remember us being so high on the continuum.
we were.
We were always?
Well, in the last couple of years, TBS has been really doing well, yeah. They're competing up there with the top schools, and sometimes they've gotten even above some of those and go for science people.
Sorry,
K2, 3, 5, 6, 8.
Sorry.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. You were thinking like I was there, and that's Joe, and he's
I said, Joseph, I'm sorry, no, you were doing
Joe's standing in the mouth right now. And your staff is sitting here too. Great job.
I get it. Thanks, Joe.
I'm going to say that
Everywhere, but it starts at K2 because without that preparation and hard work, they wouldn't be prepared to come in for.
Right.
All right.
All together.
We got it. Come on. This is pre-K
It takes a minute.
through 23 years of age.
Next, so now you have the next 3 grade levels for English language arts. You can see I highlighted that there's been some progress. We're not where we want to be, but we're not where we were. So this is good news. We're creeping, and we want to continue to creep up and close those gaps. So that's promising. We're hopeful. We'll stay at it. As you look, this is the SAT scores. Looking over time, the kids need the benchmark target percentage-wise. wise, so North Branford is doing really well comparatively. You can see just below Region 13, Guilford and Madison there.
And you know, that's like their first take of it. Most of the kids take it again and do much better.
Yeah. And we have, we'll talk about it as we get to the goals in math, where we're not quite where we want to be in some of the strategies that we're talking about. This slide I shared with you always, Branford, who's an excellent data cruncher at the high school, looks at this over time and really does a fantastic job of kind of looking at the growth marks that College Board sets, how we do across PSA to SAT, and what's kind of our growth with the cohort groups. So that last column shows you kind of our total growth area by class. And it looks pretty good there in English language arts or evidence-based reading and writing is what I should be saying for SAT.
I mean, to gain 72, 73, 75 over your 4 years is impressive.
Yeah.
Looking,
So hold on to that until, when you get to the math, you don't feel as...
I'm leaving,
Okay, we're working
leaving
on
leaving with the
Can you
positive.
go back to that slide for a second?
I'm not sure I can. I feel like I'm making very much.
And our tech.
What does the growth mean? Like, show me what the growth means, right? Because I'm looking at the highlighted numbers, and they're lower than...
So if you look at just the first one, the College Board benchmark, you see the grade 9 PSAT, 8-9, they were at 410. So that group, when they look at that over time, the expected growth is that 70 number from the
No, it's
PSAT
480.
to the SAT. See how it's 410 to 480?
So they tested
So I went up 70 points.
freshmen at
Started with
410.
Freshmen.
They
The
expect,
projection is to be 480 by their.
yes,
So we're comparing against the benchmark, not
Yes.
against other classes.
correct. We
Well,
want to
classes
be at
do
the
better.
70 or above. We want to be above the 70 is really
But
great.
the other classes have done better overall. The 2023 class did better, and so did the 2021.
Pockets, the general trend without
Did they
isolating.
trend all through school?
I'm sorry.
I mean, do you see that trend all through school, like there are classes that trend higher and classes that tend to trend lower?
Oh, yeah.
We see that across the district.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was the benchmark made, like when was that set? What
It's
date?
arbitrarily by College Board.
Okay.
There's metrics that they use, I just wouldn't want to speak to them.
Got it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But they set it and determine it.
Thank you.
That's good. All right.
So mathematics, kind of getting the overview. Work needs to be done to get us to that 60% for every grade level. We know PSAT is an area of focus. We know NBIS math is an area of focus. Math at the elementary level is improving and strong. We're seeing some great work from Jerome that's feeding into TBS. So that's good news. The coaching model and the sport at the elementary level is we're starting to see that pay dividends as we move up the ladder. So here you see the data, again, in comparison to towns. So our elementary scores are looking pretty strong in some areas. Again, competing right up there with Guilford and Madison. So those top 4, top 3. So although math is a downward trend everywhere and everyone's looking to raise the scores, we're raising it at a faster rate than some other people are. It's great to see. When you get to the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade level, this was an area where there was a lot of work to be done, as you know, and that work is continuing, and some of the instruction that we're doing, the support, the curriculum, the coaching model has helped to move some of those scores, but obviously there's some spots that are alarming and we're working on.
Do you think with because you put a new coaching model in place, or you've been working on the coaching model, do you think we'll see any change in this coming kind of test season, or do you think it'll take a couple of years for that to take hold?
No, I think you're going to see, as we have in the last 2, I think you're going to see a steady tick up little by little by little, but I don't think we're going to get to that 60 when we're at the 50% in some of those areas. That'll take a couple of years. But I'm optimistic that it's continuing to grow. I don't see us moving backwards.
What's a typical percentage point? Like, what is the percentage we could expect to see roughly? Like, what would be realistic?
I mean, I think typically what I do is I look at the group. So if you see a 47% by a grade level there, we might set a target to be a 55 based on how that group's performed over time. So I would say anywhere from like a 5 to a 70% improvement by year is kind of where I look for the most time.
The percentages that are really close, through the SRBI model of pulling out and doing direct instruction to that group that's close, that's when we're going to see our jumps. And that's the thing, identifying those kids that are that close to being at goal, and then pulling them, and you know, that's happening throughout in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade right now. So it's dedicating the time and the resources, you know, for those, pulling everyone up from the top up.
And there's the huge effort in middle school too, to encourage and get kids to commit to really taking the test seriously and doing their best on it and sustaining and focusing, which they do really well at the elementary level. We could do a better job in middle school than that, and we're working on it.
And listen, I'll speak to, I own 2 high school seniors right now, and, you know, getting college ready with the SAT scores. Oh, the test optional, they're SAT optional. So they already have a ready-made excuse to, you know, not put 110% in. And that's, you know, my children are different than anyone. That's it. If they see it as, you know, I don't have to submit my scores. But that's not that big a deal. No, yes it is. It's a big deal. And that's that whole, you know, challenge of getting all of our students at every grade level. This is important, and we want to see your best effort on every assessment that you take. And that's one of the challenges.
Well, some of the schools I know that still do accept, you know, that you put the SAT scores in, they give money based upon SAT scores.
For your merit, if you qualify high enough, if you're high enough on, you know, on the SAT for merit money. But a lot of kids now that, you know, just, oh, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, and if it's not a, you know, competitive school, there tends to be this, well, it doesn't really matter.
No, I could speak to UNH. I could speak to UNH. I mean, their merit starts at like $1,100. I mean, $1,100 for an SAT score.
Right.
And, I mean, my son was 10 points away from the next level. And no, you know, I got plenty, I can get in. I more than exceeded what they want for that.
But that's not unusual for kids.
But, you know, if I had known that, if I had known, and I was like, well, you should take them again. No, I'm good, Mom, I'm not taking them again. I exceeded what they wanted, and had I known that it would have gotten him, the next jump in money was $4,000 a year, 4,000 more.
So
Had I known
it's more of a challenge to get them to that.
Right.
All of them. It doesn't
Right.
matter if it's for the prize money or just for yourself to say that, you know what, I can do this, I can reach goal, I'm going to give my best effort. It's helpful for parents if you make that next level, because then you're getting, you know,
Right.
a nice chunk of change.
Right.
Go ahead, take it back. You don't.
Looking at the same slide for math, so again, we know that this is an area of focus for us working forward. Like everywhere, we had some significant dips post-COVID with math scores, trends. We see a nice bounce back up in the class of 2024 there, but this is an area we're focusing on, so it's a big part as we saw of our goals and action plans. These I'm not going to go through deeply, you can look closely at them. It just kind of begs the question of looking at cohorts, grade levels over time, and looking at their progress, which we dive into and look at, and these help us kind of set those targets that you were asking about, Sean. Kind of do we do the 5%, 7%, 3%, where we set those targets. So those are in there for both math and language arts. Science is obviously our other tested area, the NGSS. This is an area that we prioritized last year, really trying to do better with and strengthen our approach across the district. And you can see grade 5, TBS again, doing a great job of over 70% and almost catching Guilford and Madison there. Great job. Thanks for making it so
It's not a competition.
Grade 8, there was some growth from the previous year, but we're in the middle of there. We want to get that up to the kind of the same achieving levels for the higher end, getting that above that 60%. And looking here at the high school, they also had a nice little bump up from where they were previously. So as the whole school kind of focus on that test, really doing the same thing of making sure kids put forth their best effort and try, and it matters to how we are rated and looked at. So we'll continue to target that. And in the cohorts by grade, looking into how we've done over time.
What's Region 13? Durham.
So then you get to having looked at all those scores, seeing how we're doing, where we want to be, what are district level, there are your acronyms all broken down for you guys, so you can see them. So those approaches to instruction, we're putting our tips on that as we high leverage way to improve things. Supporting our structured process for K-12, SRBI, so closing those gaps for kids that are not where we want them to be. How does that process look and how do we strengthen it for kids? We're really working on ourselves as administrators, as a professional learning community, and how do we continue to collaborate with each other and push each other's thinking and strengthen each other as leaders. Supporting our family communication around teaching and learning, so all principals are pushing some of that out to families, helping them understand what we're doing instructionally, what is making the new visible look like. So that's a big piece of it, so that families can promote that shared language. And then obviously, as always, we want from the central office level to make sure the curriculum, the level of instruction, the programming, the resources are aligned to that vision and support these growth. And that comes with budgeting and all of that as well. Next slide is just so you know how each school is kind of attacking it and what they're doing. I don't want to read all of these to you, but they're here and you'll see some nice crossover among the buildings and you'll see really nice connection to that first slide that I shared with you. That's showing that we're more coherent and aligned, I think, than we've been previously, which is a nice thing to be able to say that we're working smart and in the same direction together.
I like that continuity.
And again, if you have questions on these, you can ask me, your building administrators can answer it as well. But just kind of looking how each building is attacking that and working toward the same outcomes, kind of in the same ways. So I want to highlight on this one just because it's a slightly different. The state made some grant money available for what's called a high dosage tutoring grant, which is math only and middle school only 6 through 8. And it's money and resource tied to helping improve math scores specifically for kids that are behind. So we're looking hopefully to get some funding.
Oh, good.
We should hear shortly.
Who wrote the grant?
Okay, then.
Who wrote the grant?
We did.
Yeah.
The curriculum office.
How many grants do you put out a year?
I think that's our across the district from special services, curriculum instruction, and others. Maybe 7. Yes, and that's Sarah has that. Yeah,
About 7?
I got it. And then high school one as well. And you can see some things that we talked about in the slides that focus on math, SAT prep, alignment. And that's the presentation for you. Of course, I know I ran through it quickly. I know you have the handouts, so if there are questions, you can leave them to Scott. We can certainly meet as an admin team and get those answers and details back to you if there's things that you're interested in hearing more about.
Thank you.
I do have one question, sorry to cut there. So, and this may not be irrelevant to the situation here, but so these test scores are from where now again? They're from, how do they get this, the bar graphs that you have?
So those are available in the state. So the state publishes the state performance, our performance, and then we can look at how other districts do.
Like for our number though, like what's that testing? It's based off of what test?
It depends on what you're looking at.
Okay, all right, so I'm looking at 6th grade math.
All right, so that's the smarter balance.
Okay, so like, and I just observation, you know, I'm give me a second here. Or sorry, 5th grade.
Yeah.
So 5th grade says 57.9, right, for math. And then you go to science, it's 70.1. And I'm just, you know, I was a science major and I just remember doing math like every day.
Yeah.
How is that, like, I mean, there's chemistry, physics, you know, organic chemistry, all these math heavily involved.
Well, it's 5th grade.
Right, but I'm just saying, so what types of science are we talking, like
Basic.
earth and
Life science.
life sciences stuff? Okay, got it. That's what I'm looking for.
I said basic science.
Okay, yeah.
The life science.
That's it, that's the question.
And the way that the test is set up and the organization that runs the test, that's the test of the 2 different organizations.
Right.
As well, so the smarter balance is different from the NGSS.
Copy.
Right, so it's the same charge. If you have anything after looking at the data, if you have questions, just forward them to us. Okay, that being said, we're going to move to the financial report.
You have your report in front of you. There's really not an update on the new financial system other than that. We are still working on the,
Yes.
You're going to have your financial report in front of you.
Is that it?
We have it.
Oh, you have it?
These right here? Packet?
You have it?
Yeah.
I have yours. Okay. Other side?
okay, start again. The implementation of our payroll continues. We have more training tomorrow. Nothing really new to report there, except that it is a very detailed and slow process. For 22-23, we actually closed out all the open purchase orders as we are required to do for October 1st. And I am happy to report that only $9,000 remain after all purchase orders were closed out. So that will be the figure that goes back to the town. If you remember in years past, that has been
A lot higher.
well over,
Big number.
yeah.
And you don't know if you know anyone in the town.
We appreciate that.
The benchmark that you try and, gauge your budget management to is, within 1%. So we are well under that 1%. So
Yeah.
we did very well.
Very
Can you do
well.
that again?
Good job.
We will try. We'll go for 8,000 next time.
Good job, Martha.
For 23-24, our current year, I just want to say we are still very early in our fiscal year. And of course, we're heading into the winter months, and that always brings lots of questions as to oil and snow and all that unpredictable things. So the idea now is just proceeding with caution. With the rising costs of everything, I think we're all cognizant of that. Picked out a few things that I wanted to draw your attention to. They're here. In substitutes, we've already spent $24,000 in a substitute line, so that is something that we need to keep an eye on. Our health insurance, we continue to pay that on a monthly basis, and with that, our employees contribute their piece, so that's why on this
Right.
report you see a negative, so each month that negative goes down. We did have a retiree, a teacher who did retire in June, but they did not take their severance until after July 1st, so that is what this negative on the report is, the $3,800. And workman's comp, our premium this year was $339,000. We had budgeted $318,000.
Oof.
So we are currently over in our workman's comp line by 21. So that's something to watch. Our rentals for copiers is up. Is estimated to be over again this year based on our actual number from last year. So that's another thing that we need to watch is our use of copiers. And the telephones, specifically the cost of the new system at the high school, right now we're estimating to be almost over by $14,000 there. So one of the interesting things this year that we're going to see that we really don't have any benchmark on is the costs of running the new buildings. So what are the utilities going to be? What are the,
Right.
heating and all of
Right.
that? Are we going to be saving money in some areas, or are we going to be spending more? So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out this year. As Scott said, we've
I
already...
have a quick question on the copy.
Yeah, of course.
Is this going to be an overage every month, so it'll accumulate over the year, or is it
No,
just
that's
one
the
time?
estimated for the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I saw something.
Estimated for the year.
And again, like the phone was the new system that went to the high school. And I can guarantee you that our heating costs are going to be less than the high school over time. It's small and tall, it's more efficient, there's better glass. So we're going to be in good shape. We just need a nice mild winter.
Yes. 24-25 budget is, we just started. So as Scott said, I'll be meeting with administrators and we'll be getting all of the data together to have it ready for you at the end of January. And for Fund 25, right now we have a balance of $399,000 in Fund 25. And I listed there the expenditures so far for the first quarter, which total $36,000. We had some professional services, some software, a payment for Munis, and some athletic equipment. So
We lost some athletic equipment in transition. Things disappeared. Where are they? We have no idea. We have a lot of bodies moving, a lot of different things, and we have to have goals. We have to have physical goals. That catch soccer balls and stuff. That's the expenses for athletics.
So I did include a summary year-to-date report for you for 22-23, so that,
So Fund 25,
yes.
do you anticipate us going through that this year, like depleting it?
I'll answer that.
Okay.
For things that we absolutely need, we're not going to rely on 25 to bail out the budget for next year. So we are strategically looking at things, big picture things that we need, that we want. We have a number of things in mind, an outbuilding by the football field for storage of a lot of our equipment, football equipment, teams out there. So that money will be dwindling down each month. It's not going to be a safety net for.
In short, if we don't spend it all this year, it's going to be a bone of contention for town council at
Yeah,
budget
no,
season.
it's
So
gonna
we want to get, but again, we don't want to use it to bail out our budget because it gives a unrealistic view of operating.
Right. So we have strategically put things in place that we need, and each month you'll see the expenditures.
Is there a Fund 25 in this stuff?
Report, yes, I can get that for you.
Okay.
That'd be included in the month, like would that be included in what you normally would hand out every month? Just like or similar, it doesn't have to be as,
I
not
don't
Munis,
always include it, but I certainly can include it. I believe I did report on it in August, and I wasn't here last month. But I can certainly, it's not a problem,
All right,
include it each
Thank you.
month.
At least have a running tally.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good too.
Going through.
And I will, for next month, I will print the report. I apologize, I didn't even think
That's fine.
to do that. The year-to-date report you have in front of you, and then I do have budget transfers. I have some cleanup for 22-23. They are all salary lines. And the reason why I'm asking for the transfers is so that as we go into the budget season, if you look back on the salary lines, you'll see what we actually needed, and an increase won't look double what it should.
Right.
So that's the reason for 22-23. I did make sure that there is no real reason for us to do transfers for a year that is closed, because technically the only line we have is the bottom line, and that's what the auditors look at. So,
So when do we get audited again? I remember.
so they've already been here.
Okay.
They were here in the summertime, and then they came for maybe 4 days in September. And they will be, because we have Munis now, and they have the ability to go online, they have their own sign-on, they were able to go in and do a lot of the testing virtually from their office, because they can see all our attachments. They probably will come back in the office maybe next month, but I believe most of the field work has been done.
We get the report normally towards the end of December, right?
We have to have the audit filed to the state by December 31st.
Right.
So you should
Right.
have it either before December 31st if they get it early to the state, or right after the first of the year.
Do you and the town get it at the same time?
Yes, it's only one audit, and we are actually only one line in the audit.
Okay, so we'll get it. So as soon as you get it, can you send the report out with any findings to the board?
Sure.
If we don't have a board meeting for 3 weeks, send it to us
Okay.
so we have it.
Yes.
with any call-outs on it, just so we know.
Okay.
And then we can discuss it at the actual board meeting,
Sure.
but just in case.
And then, budget transfers for the current year.
Do you need us to make a motion for that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, please.
So I'll make a motion to approve the line item transfers as submitted for the 23-24 school year.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Now, you need a separate motion for the 22-23?
Yes, if you could. Thank you.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve the line item transfers as submitted for the 2022-2023 school year.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, student enrollment, I'm going to pass the updated sheet around October 22 through October 23. Bruce Williams runs the data, we submit this to the state. As you can see, we are up 6 students, 1535 on the data reporting. And it just obviously runs across from pre-K all the way across. So we have a lot, when you look at 7, 8, and 9, larger classes with 132, 16, 28. There's a lot of building going on in town. Obviously, you're out and about driving around and you see a lot of the development that these are large homes that are going up. Look out,
Yeah.
in the next 6 or 7 years, I think we're going to start to see little blips for our pre-K and K.
We still hover around the same number.
Yeah, we're pretty,
6 students,
we're
right?
pretty level.
We're pretty level.
We are.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll go up
That's
as
been
the
the trend, but
development.
it's surprising to me that in these times, that on Totucket Road, wrapping back through, we look at, there's 8 or 10 new homes going up. Right around the corner. And they're large homes. So it's indicative, I think, of value and
That could be at least 2 kids at home.
affordability. Yeah. So,
How many can that high school hold?
a good real estate agent,
How many can the high school hold?
whole.
Yeah, like, we built a smaller high school. How
No,
many
it's-
can they hold?
When I say
What's
small and
capacity?
tall, we could hold probably 600 students
okay.
easily,
Okay,
easily.
we're still, what are we still around 500-ish?
Yeah, 430.
420.
They want glasses.
439.
439.
442.
What are we at?
442.
Oh, we got 3 students.
See, we're picking them up already.
Holding signs at bus
What a fourth
stops.
floor on that building. They're coming.
They're coming.
Well, I'll get to that later. All right, any questions on enrollment? Okay. Town manager pending request, just a couple updates. Youth basketball is going to be sharing our facilities. I've been working with the town manager and our team to make sure that there's, facilities for all of the extra activities for people that want to use the facilities. You know that we are down a high school gym, which is a huge impact for our high school and middle school teams. And Lori Conley, our athletic director, has been working with all of these outside programs to make sure that everyone has equitable opportunities to get in and run their programs. And I think we're at a really good place with Jerome Harrison for our boys and girls basketball team and keeping them in town. And kudos to everyone involved. It's not advantageous, the state-of-the-art gym that's going to come in, these kids are going to miss that are seniors. The juniors and everyone below are going to have that. But to be able to play in your town and not have to go to a neighboring town to play, I think is as good as we can possibly do. So that's...
I personally pulled the girls' basketball team.
You what?
I pulled the girls' basketball team. You know I did. To ask them
I'm
where they
surprised
wanted
by
to
that.
play. I know, being the wallflower I am, but
They
I
want to
wanted
be
to
home.
know.
They want to be...
I wanted to know, do you want to play in East Haven? Do you want to play somewhere else? Or do you want to play in a home gym? And they wanted to play home. They wanted to play in town. where they grew up, were surrounded by their fans, right? Like they didn't want to be in another gym, and I found that actually very warming.
But the boys are the same way.
And I'm sure they are. I just didn't have access to them.
Yeah, no, they're believing.
Yeah.
So it's a good, it's the best scenario for the circumstances that we're in. It's an inconvenience. You know, there's no, you know, you look at like there's no foods department right now. So they're running the foods class without a kitchen. They're using the cafeteria. They're doing what they have to do. You know, so it's going to get better, but you just have
Right.
we have to get through this year.
And youth sport, and like the youth basketball team and any youth sports are being given gym time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Lori's working with them, I'm sure, because I know she's like a scheduling genius.
Yeah, she's on it with all of them. So we're in a good place.
So where are they playing? In TVS?
No, Jerome. The only
That court is okay,
size
Jerome,
court is Jerome Harrison. That's the
Oh,
only.
TVS isn't either?
No, it's too narrow, too short. So there's
Okay, I knew
specific.
intermediate school wasn't at TV, okay, I didn't know.
They're both too small.
Ah.
The only other gym that we have is that
Jerome.
Jerome Harrison that measures 91 by
Right.
50.
And that has a different floor though, right?
It's a synthetic floor, but it's
But it's-
fine.
it's-
It'll be cleaned every day and it'll be fine.
Okay.
And that floor was new. We put that in probably 8 years ago.
I just didn't know if it was regulation, I don't know
Oh, yeah,
about
no,
basketball.
we're okay.
So, okay.
There's not a lot of seating, but it'll make for a more active, engaged
Cozy.
crowd. Cozy, that's a good way. More
That's
cozy
right.
environment. Okay, I'm also working with a local farmer in the town on a farm grant. We're doing research on kind of a condensed version of a greenhouse with the ability to fast track and grow vegetables, and it's a state grant. So one of the local farmers has reached out to us. We're working with Martha in our food service director to see if it's something that we want to engage in. We don't want to get into something that we're not going to be able to do and have to be advantageous for us because of resources and things like that. If it works for us, I'd love to put it on my property at the high school, but that's not the way the grant's written. So if it works and we can engage in that and then get produce from this grant, that'd be great.
Is there also an opportunity to make it some kind of an outdoor classroom or learning classroom?
Well, again, it's all that question of resources and getting it there. Like we had the greenhouse before,
Yeah.
and there was struggles at times getting, you know, environmental science, if we have to go off-site to get there to do it. There's a lot of things that, we'll explore all of that, and Rebecca
Yeah.
Palomini has all of the communication. She's our guru in science for that, so.
She's great.
Yeah, and so we're open for any ideas as long as it does not put us in a situation where we're not going to be able to support it. But it's, listen, you know, I love
Will you keep
I love
us
that.
posted? I mean,
Yeah.
I like the idea of supporting community, but it's also, while I understand it's free to the farm,
Right.
it's not free to us, right? Because we're the purchaser of the goods.
Right.
So we are entering into a contract.
Right, and it has to be advantageous.
Absolutely.
Right, so, but I
Absolutely.
like the idea, it's definitely worth exploring.
Yeah. Yeah. You ready to put it on our facility? I have it right in my back door.
I don't know if that's how it works.
Anyway, okay. Renovation project, listen, the steel is going up. I'll just speak on behalf of what I've observed with the weather. We seem to be getting 4 days of great days during the week, and then it rains on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if we stay with that pattern, we're in really good shape for buttoning this building up in the next 6 weeks, which would then mean, okay, now we get into, you know, windows and interior and things like that. So we had some questions over egress with the auditorium. All of those were resolved today with Mr. Florio. There's no more questions with the fire marshal or the police department. I spoke to both of them yesterday. We came up with a plan with the fencing. So we have, you know, safe egress from both areas. Our student access point, the fencing was put in there. They'll be able to park and walk on the opposite side now to come into the building, which is a good thing. So from where we're at, we're moving along. We're at a good pace. Fingers crossed for just continued good weather Monday through Friday. I don't know if I want to spin off on
No, I think you squared away.
any of that.
That's good enough. I mean, there's little side little things here and there, but that's the whole
I don't bring up the side.
Don't do it. It's a 3-hour meeting, you don't want
Those are all conversations that happen off the
We
record.
want high level.
Yes.
Scott and Beth will handle the side things.
No, trust me. Community Roundup, I'm just going to read you the date that's in there, the 28th. It's a wonderful community event now. Obviously, with so many in need throughout the country, throughout the community, throughout North Branford. Any participation, we'll get involved as obviously our schools, but anything you can do to help, we greatly appreciate it. And that is it.
Committee reports? Lucy, what negotiations do we have this year?
None.
That's fine.
We're done.
Just did 4.
We're done.
I know, just checking. Just checking. Budgets for this curriculum, pension?
No meeting.
Okay. ACES?
Yes.
Wait, oh shoot. Okay. I actually remember my notes. Okay, and I didn't send out last month's notes. I realized that when I was
It's okay.
sitting down to this
It's
board
okay.
meeting. So if you'd like, I could go over that quick if you want it, or no? Would you like me to skip over September?
Is it relevant?
Not really, you don't need to. Okay, so we'll go
Are they
October.
giving money back to us?
No, they're
I
not
didn't
doing
know if it
that,
was like
no.
something that we're gonna have to build on.
So we went over the wintergreen construction update. That was by David Stein, who's from Silver and Petrocelli. Wintergreen is going, looks like a 2-year renovation project. They're doing like areas of the school. An old locker room was being turned into a music wing. The old medical center is going to go into a performing arts center. They're doing some bathroom upgrades. So it's periodically through the building, and they're going to focus hopefully on most of the construction will be during the summer months. We had the executive director present us with his goals for 2023-24. We had some new policy reviews for chest feeding and affirmative action. The chest feeding was to make it more inclusive because it used to be a breastfeeding policy, so they switched it. The terminology, affirmative action was just to make more inclusive language. They had a tentative agreement with their behavioral technicians. There's 70 of these people. They had like a 2.75 increase, health premium increase, and a step increase. We also got a status on another construction project at ACES at Chase. And their fiscal report, we are currently $4 million in the surplus for ACES. That shouldn't last, but it's actually surplus, which they do not normally have this time of year. And they have the audit is on time. And we received a facilities assessment report and deferred maintenance capital improvement plan for all of their buildings, which is numerous. So that is it.
That was easy. All right, do we want to do anything else on the building committee, or did we wrap that up earlier? Okay. And there was no communication. Any new business?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. All right. Any visitors and press? Same group? Gonna say no. All right. Good of the board? Good.
Okay, thank you again for the fruit basket.
Very well.
And I'd just like to say that the 8th grade class is going to Washington, and they are laying the wreath on the unknown soldier on Veterans Day.
Oh, nice.
Which is nice.
The DC trip is in November?
It's like,
It's on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday after the.
Oh, wow. They used to go way, way, way back in May. Oh, that's
The
nice.
cherry blossom.
No, that's nice to go in November.
It'll be beautiful, that thing.
Yeah,
That'll be
that's
powerful.
neat.
Especially now, really.
yes.
Very.
I'm looking forward to going to TDS tomorrow night for their holiday fall festival, or their food trucks, games, and music. So really looking
Nice.
forward to that. And I'm sure Jerome is having a wonderful one too.
So it'll be Joe tomorrow and then next week then.
I heard Mr. Moyo is performing.
Oh, is he? I didn't get that in the flyer.
Mr. Moyo, I think he's supposed
I think just want to.
She must have.
Very graciously offered, I run a 5th grade troop of Girl Scouts that are learning about government, and one of the things they have to learn about is their school government, and he graciously offered them to sit in on meetings. I wanted to check if the November meeting, everyone will be comfortable with them coming in, doing like a quick, just hi and explain what they're doing. It'll take like 2 minutes, and then they can sit and listen to all this.
How old are they?
5th grade. This is their choice. They want to learn about government, business, and automotive. This is what these girls picked. And I'm like, you got it, like, yeah. So next week we're meeting with town council, they're doing a mock for us, and then,
The caveat is a 10% discount on cookies.
yes. Free cookies for everybody.
There's never a discount.
All right, the next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, November 16th.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.